Good morning. Welcome to the Monday, December 8th, 2025 Board of Education Work Session Meeting. May I have a motion to open the meeting?
I move.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's stand for the pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we are having our work session, our second work session on working on our mission statement. And anyone is welcome to start and jump in. Okay.
Jump
Oh.
ahead, she needs to
Oh,
jump
so
ahead.
do you want to jump ahead? Okay, so you,
I just said, I wanted to, if there were any questions about the change order for the facilities, I asked you, Scott, would you like
oh, okay. So we're going to go down to jump ahead because Mr. Caldwell Block is here to explain to us item 4.1, change order on MSGC 004.
Sure. So there is a change order for Bertucci Construction, which, with the weight of the air conditioning units at 7 bridges that are in the air above the basketball courts, they needed to put additional bracing and additional steel work to make sure that it could handle that weight and could support the weight. So there was a change order for that. So as we're finishing up these projects, there's going to be a few positive and negative change orders, and this is one of them.
So are all of the air conditioning units the same weight?
They're not the same weight because the building, they're different size gyms and different size spaces, so they're different sizes.
Okay, so did they know and have these specs prior to bringing these units in?
I do not, when they brought them prior to bidding, when they were bid out, the final specs for the units were not available. So when they put the bid out there, the weight wasn't known for what we were putting up in the ceilings.
Okay. Is this something that maybe in the future we could, or is it always going to be like a timing issue?
I think in this case, I think it would be a timing issue, especially with when the supply chain for air conditioning units and all of the electrical units was happening. That became an issue for the bidding process when we put out separately the construction and the HVAC component bids. So it was more advantageous for us to do it separately to get bids from companies at lower prices, but this was one of the issues that would arise with that.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of questions that
Yep.
maybe others might have. So did we have similar situations
Yeah,
in
no.
terms of weight?
We didn't have similar situations in terms of the weight of the units in other buildings. It was the volume, 7 bridges has such high ceilings compared to our other schools.
Okay.
So the volume of space that we're air conditioning is larger.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? All right, next time I won't ask 3 questions. I'll let everybody else ask.
We all have the same question, so it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck on the walk back, it's cold out.
Okay, so now we're going to jump right in to the mission statement. So Dr. Ackerman, do you want to
So,
start?
yeah, great. So at our last meeting, we decided that the next step would be to gather feedback from our students and our staff. And so that feedback has been shared with the board. There was a survey created based on 4 different options that we developed through our last work session. And so the staff and the students responded that the second option that was presented was most favorable. So I, just for the purposes of our work, that's our current policy. And then if we were to revise the policy, the second option is at the top. And then because you have AI kind of took both survey results, aggregated it, and came up with a suggestion that anchors into, but also has some additional language that was noted by the staff and students as important in describing what our mission was, but didn't necessarily, or wasn't necessarily reflected in option 2. And so I thought maybe we could start there. So we can, I don't know if you want to start with option 2, if you want to start with the suggestion, or you want to start somewhere else. But the board has all of the data, they have the feedback, they have the summary. And so the next step would be a first draft of the mission statement that the board would discuss. And then we could, and it might make sense for us to send it out to the full community at that point for feedback, so. There's the frame.
So why don't I read what where we left off, which is the top, right?
Yeah.
Our mission is to foster a dynamic and inclusive learning community where students, families, and educators collaborate to pursue academic excellence, personal growth, and social responsibility while embracing innovation to prepare individuals to contribute meaningfully to society and shape our future. And then,
And so the bottom part is AI pulling from
The
things
survey?
that other language that in the survey was reflected as significant, as important for consideration. So revised it to our mission is to foster a dynamic and inclusive learning community where students, families, and educators collaborate to promote academic excellence, nurture social emotional well-being, and inspire a lifelong love of learning. Together, we embrace creativity and innovation to prepare compassionate, responsible citizens who contribute meaningfully to their communities and the world.
yes,
I like it.
I want to take a big highlighter and start putting like hearts around the things that I really love.
Yeah.
What does everybody think?
I think it's great. I think that AI added some things that that are important, that based off what you said, the feedback from the survey, the lifelong love of learning, I think is really important. And I just think it added a little bit of warmth to the second choice. That the one before it's not as warm, and the second one feels warmer to me. And
Is that the prompt? Make it warmer?
yeah,
No.
I
No,
like
just-
it. It's not, we were looking for something really short, and
I know,
it's
it's a little
not really
long.
short, but at the same time, I feel like we found that something short didn't allow us to have all these pieces that feel important, because we're not just academic excellence, we're all these other things on top of it, and inspiring the love of learning, social emotional, like all those things that we're trying to add as nuances to our really strong academic program are so important, and in this case, a little bit of length is okay, because we're getting, more breadth as well.
I'll share that, finish, I didn't want to.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
I'll share that I mean, looking at it, it is good, but I also do want to take a step back and just frame again our process, which was, last meeting, we talked initially as a group a bit about some ideas. My recollection, then we broke up into teams, all of us as the governance team separated, working with administrators. I think we all did good work, and we all came up with ideas that had a lot of the same vision, but were a little bit different. And then my recollection of that was essentially the end of our work. And we convened a little bit to agree that we're all going in the same direction, which is great. But I don't think that we, as a group, discussed the different options and tried to synthesize them ourselves. Seeing from the staff and student feedback, certainly one option was liked more by particularly staff, but the others were all viewed favorably. Again, I look at this, it's hard to dislike it, but it also doesn't seem that different from where we're coming from. Some of the language is a little updated, but it doesn't seem that different. So I want to just ask the framing question. Is our goal to make a very succinct, actionable mission statement? And is this actionable? Can an administrator look at this and say, when they're trying to make a decision between two curriculum or two programs, can they look at it and say, right, this mission statement is going to help guide me with which way we're going. And so we could certainly continue on this path and go with something like this, which seems like an updating of some language of the existing mission statement. And an alternative would be, I remember it was Andrew Corsilia throughout, it was just off the top of his head, but it was like, we could just go with something super short. And if we can come up with something that's super short but still captures the ideals, and something else I'd like us to discuss is the language of, is our mission to foster a learning community? Is our mission to create a community? Or is our mission to connect with, educate, and inspire? And I think about that coming from, partly certainly coming from my world in the FDNY. Our mission is to save lives and protect property, not to create a community where we collaborate with residents. And I just think about this, like, if we were to really live our mission statement, and if this were the mission statement, would it lead us to operate differently? Are we living this? Are we fostering a dynamic, inclusive learning community where students, families, and educators collaborate? I don't know. As I think about, would that mean that at the beginning of every year we'd be calling every parent and student in with each teacher to create a plan for that student? It sounds really good, but is it really the mission? I'm curious for thoughts.
I don't see it exactly meaning that.
You see it differently?
I mean, I think if you're reading it
Yeah.
with only one lens, like a very
Yeah.
minute lens, I could see where you might say
Yeah.
that. But for me, I think our learning community here does include families. Like, how can it not?
Sure.
How can we ask, things of our students and not have our parents be on board with that, and not working with our parents when there is an issue with an individual child? And so I feel like we're not, to me, the term community feels like a welcoming, warm space. And
Yeah.
I don't want our buildings to feel not like that. That even though parents aren't in here every single day, they're still part of our project and start part of our puzzle.
Oh, certainly. And to that point, we want agency from our students. We want participation, very active participation from our parents. Does it rise to the level of full-on collaboration?
Well, I don't think we say that.
Yeah,
we
I
say-
think I look at collaboration,
Yeah.
I think Alyssa would define it the same way, just in this context, as that we're not necessarily overlapping, but we're
Yeah.
all
Oh, we're all
collaborating
stakeholders. Sure.
to find the outcome.
Yeah.
The board, parents, the teachers, the students,
Mm-hmm.
are all working for the same potential outcome. So that, I think, is community collaboration, not necessarily, hey, what is my daughter's academic plan going to be? I'm going to go sit with Dr. Ackerman, I'm
Yeah.
going to go sit with Dr. Pease, and then I'm going to go sit with their teacher. It's more like we're all supporting through the community to create the best outcome for the students. So that's the way I look at collaboration in this context. I do think it's still a little long, though, if the end outcome is that we want people to or we want students to know what the mission statement
Right.
is.
Yeah.
But again, I do have a hard time saying it's not good, because I think it is good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's what I look at, is I'd like something shorter, something a direction I had been thinking, which is slightly different, which may very well not be the direction we go, but is, our mission is to connect with, and the words could be different, but our mission is to connect with, educate, inspire every student, to achieve their potential in partnership with parents. And I just think of that as so direct. It tells, a faculty member or administrator says, that's our mission. And that is how I approach it, from that very direct place. I also, again, looking at this, I can't not like it. But that I wanted to present that alternative idea of an approach, of the idea of being much more direct about what we as a school district are doing.
Ms. Steinbauer, did you have something to
I
add?
think it's hard to, when you're talking about education and so many different types of learners and students and people who are involved. I think making it be something that's so short and actionable is gonna leave out a lot that's really important, like especially around like inclusivity and, you know, being responsible citizens and contributing to the community and the world. Like, I think those are all like extremely important, and making it shorter. I do think we can find a way to make it tighter, but, oh, I don't know. Am I loud enough? I don't know, I think being, there you go, too short and succinct is gonna lose a lot of the message that I think we and the community would want.
Well, I think that's what happened, right? We had a shorter versions on the survey, and
Yeah.
that was the feedback, was that, what
We're
about
missing
this,
stuff.
what about this?
Yeah.
And I agree that I would love a short tagline, like, just do it. Like, I would love it if we could figure out something that was inclusive of everything with that short tagline, because I think it's memorable and actionable, but at the same time, we are such a nuanced situation, and there's so many aspects that we want to include, and so many things that are besides like our rigorous academics. Like, that's not just what Chappaqua is, and it's a part of it, but it's not all we are. And there's so many things, and we want to be, you know, an academic community for every student and meet them where they are, and the social emotional wellness piece is like such an important thing to layer onto that might not have been as prominent in our previous mission statement, and so it is about updating the language. I don't think that our old mission statement was wrong, or that we've really changed our views on how we want to run our school district, but at the same time, we do need updated language, and this slightly longer one does seem to add a lot of those pieces to the puzzle that make us special.
So, I really like it. I like the suggested statement. I could appreciate the length. I think the themes that was taken into consideration in terms of community collaboration and connection, where students highlighted wanting to feel seen, heard, supported, connected community, inclusion and belonging, obviously academic excellence and growth, social emotional health and wellness, and it definitely has the tone and accessibility. So now I think what I would want to suggest then, in listening to everyone, is can we have this? And then can we have a shorter, what we just did in Wellness Committee? Like a one-liner that will sort of point to this, and maybe use some of the words that Tim was talking about in terms of, you know, connectedness. I can't remember, I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Could I-
but you know what I mean? Like, we don't get rid of it and then just try to squeeze everything in one really long sentence with a lot of commas, but have that, and then have like a tagline, like what Ms. Dorfman said about, you know, just do it. Just do this. Just let's all do this. Let's do this. I'm not saying that should be it, but, you know, because we had that in the
Live this
Wellness
dream.
Committee just before this work session. We had sort of a vision for the committee itself, and then they came up with it was like a sentence that kind of encompassed everything, but they also had like a paragraph before that. Those are my thoughts.
That can certainly work, and could certainly work for me. A word, which you hit it, Kaylee, a word I would like to get in there if we can is connection, because that's something that was so primary to my experience growing up here, and one of the reasons I moved back, because I want my children to feel that connection with faculty and staff that I did. And again, I'll just reiterate one more time, my thought of, I fully agree that we want our mission statement to be about including every student, connecting with every student, you know, meeting them where they are, all of that. And again, I just look at it, I would like, if we could find a way to write it where our mission is to include every student and connect with every student and meet them where they are. Because when I see our mission is to foster a community that does that, my preference, 1 of 5, would be to be a lot more direct and say, this is what we're doing. Not necessarily we're fostering the community that does that. I think it takes some of the agency away from what we do as an organization. Again, that's one thought. And I don't,
So maybe instead of foster, say create?
Create.
no, it would be to take out the layer of creating the community and say our mission is to include, connect with, whatever words we want, every student in partnership with families and educators to pursue those various things. It takes away, if you just read just the topic sentence, the beginning of the topic sentence, our mission is to foster a community. I brought my children here to receive an education, to be connected with, to be inspired. So I think it just makes it very direct going to the things that we want rather than having the layer of community.
But I think of the community as like everybody that works in the building with the students. And
Yeah.
more that like as they, I don't know, as they go through it, because it's not the same thing every year, right? Like they're gonna be with different children each year, they're gonna be with different staff members each year, and I think the idea of fostering this community where, I don't know, like my kids have teachers that they still connect with even though they're not in their class anymore, and I think that is the idea of like the district community for me. So yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's how I would approach it, as the very direct, but it is fine the way it is. So I'll give that up.
Do we want to come up with a tagline or not?
I'm trying.
Let me try to put something on the
At
board up
ChatGPT.
there.
I almost think like,
Hold on, everybody.
because, I mean, this is a little hokey, but, connected community were like 2 words that I think we could all agree on, and obviously through the key themes across the groups of respondents, connected community is highlighted here as something that people really felt strongly about. So if you CCSD,
where this is
connected
going.
community, you fill in the S and the D, and then we have like, boom, your tagline, here is our mission statement. So you work on the S and the D, I got you this year.
How about, well, I was scribbling something with be connected, stay connected, so maybe staying connected, I don't,
Well, I mean, Tim is a great example of that. Right? Be connected, stay connected enough to want to come back. So yeah, like I like messing around with the letters from the actual CCSD, connected community, but like the SD was, I haven't turned my brain on fully yet today, so I'm struggling there. But I think like if you do something that's really short and pithy like that, and then you can have this to
Yeah.
support
yeah.
what that looks like, I think that's a great alternative, because
What if you
I don't like shortening just to shorten.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
agree.
Especially
It
when
has
it's
to have a touch
saying
point.
all the things that you need it to say.
What if you did connected community supported?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Supported, what did it
it's in there somewhere.
I don't think
Supported
that,
development?
I don't know if that would go in the policy.
Yeah,
You
yeah, no,
guys
that's
could
just
do that,
tagline,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Connected
So-
community supported development,
Supporting doers.
supporting doers.
Here's
I don't like
this
that one.
shortened, here's the, first of all, we're doing great, because this was 3 paragraphs, so now we're down to like a sentence and a paragraph. So we're making progress. This is this paragraph just shortened, with some of the language in there that Tim shared was important to him. It's hard to do this when you have like 5 people wordsmithing something.
I also think we really do want to take into consideration, which luckily for us, AI was able to do, and be able to parse out what the feedback that we were getting from faculty, community members, and students, and looking at, because I do think different words trigger different emotions, different words are defined a little bit differently in terms, there's nuance into it. I think there's also there is an understanding in the education community within certain words that just makes sense to educators, or students are sometimes used to certain words because they hear from their school spaces every day, on an ongoing basis. So I think there is a little bit of nuance that plays into it, just kind of understanding and so I think with that knowledge or not, I think you look at it through a different lens because you're either used to that language or you define it like an educator because you are, or you define it as a high school student because you're used to hearing certain things being talked about in your classrooms and in the hallways. So I think that's just something to consider.
Could you give some examples? I'm not sure which words you're talking, are there words here that?
No,
that
any
are
of the
corrected?
words, I think in terms of what we were talking about, whether it's community, inclusion, just
Academic excellence.
any of those words that, collaboration, like for example, we were talking about that before. For me, collaborating is community, right? So, but that might not necessarily, it could mean a little more to somebody, it could mean a little less, or it might not mean that thing at all to the next person, so.
Tim, when we go to this, you don't like this term foster, right? Do you want, our mission is to create a dynamic?
No, it's not the word foster or create. It is the mission to create a community, or is the mission to do, to provide things to students to help them accomplish things? It's.
So I think, okay, so
Do you-
oh,
are-
oh,
are you
I
getting the
understand it.
difference
Yeah,
at
now
least?
I'm
It's like,
understanding now. So
Are we inspiring learning? Are we educating? Are we connecting? Whatever your words are, is our mission to do those things, or is our mission to create a community from which those things happen? And it seems like less direct. I also understand the arguments for why we might want it to be the mission is to create community. I just see them as two slightly different things.
I could see that, but I think for me, when we want to foster or create community, that includes everything else that you're talking about, to me. So it's all part of it. So, but then to your, I guess then the argument can be made, well, if it's all of it, then are we being as specific or direct? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but I'm okay with it because I understand it and feel like it resonates with me the way that I think is what we're trying to say, but.
I'll just add, one more thought. I guess, Christine, the thing that you wrote as the first one is the shorter version. It says, we strive to inspire learning, well-being, and creativity within an inclusive, connected school community. Obviously, community is important. In the second one, our mission is, we are talking about the community first, and then the things that we want that community to do. So I suppose it's really just the order of it, and what are we putting first, and are the things that appear first, the things that jump out to me as the things that are important to us. It puts sort of the things we're trying to do in the very first words of the sentence. I think that's why I personally like it. Again, it's just a thought, and if everybody else wants to go the other way, I'll support it, and it's great stuff. But I just like, you don't actually get to what the community's doing until halfway through the mission statement, if we start with fostering a community. If instead we talk about what we want the community to do first, and then mention, this is in a community, community's still there, but we've put front and center whatever the words are. If it's, I think what Christine wrote is great. Someone else might want different words there, and that's fine. But it would put the things that we want in the very first couple sentences. So that's why it appeals to me for
Yeah,
directness,
yeah.
but again, they're both good.
I didn't even actually dissect it that way, but now that you're explaining it, I actually like having community first because it sort of defines who we are and who's responsible for this. And that includes everyone in CCSD, which is parents, caretakers, family members, teachers, staff, the board, everyone. So I actually appreciate that and like it. But that's my point of view.
What about that revision? It's got Tim's suggestions leading, followed by the mission statement with the removal of this, because it's a little bit redundant now. And I guess what I would share is that it's like safe enough to try. Is it safe enough to put out to the
Right,
community for feedback at this point? Because we're going to come back to it again.
So we solicited feedback just from building staff and high schoolers so far?
Yes, because we
Right.
wanted to make sure that we had a second conversation before we put this out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything controversial in here.
Yeah.
I like the word together. Like I see a mission statement as something like, we're like kind of declaring it. So like, together we embrace creative, right? Like, so I kind of like that tone.
Yeah.
And it feels inclusive. We're inviting people to take responsibility and ownership of this mission statement.
I think we're a little, if I look at it, I just don't want to be redundant in the two sentences, right? It's a little, like we're saying the same thing twice,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I
if
think
you're
one
if you're
or the other.
adding that
Yeah.
top piece, yes.
I think either could be a mission statement, and they're both good.
Oh, like this is the mission statement, or
Yeah.
this is the mission
Yeah.
statement?
Yeah.
I thought that was your proposal.
No,
Like-
she meant
Yeah.
Okay,
adding the two
One?
together.
Well, I have to say, I really like the phrase or clause where it says, we're collaborating to promote academic excellence, nurture social emotional well-being, and inspire a lifelong love of learning. Like, those three elements to me feel really like the meat of what we're talking about. And because like, those are the three prongs that I feel like what we're doing for the kids here. And so everything else sounds good, and I like all the other words too. I like inclusive, I like connected, I like community, but that, literally that phrase is to me the meat of it. So I feel like,
Yeah, I agree with you, but for me, I don't want to say it like non-negotiable because this is not that serious, but I do think we need, what are we really doing? Our mission is not just that, it is to end results, holistic, responsible, compassionate
Right.
citizens.
I agree.
That needs to, because
Tag
that is
them
our
onto-
mission. Our
Right.
mission is whatever it looks like here, it is at the end of that, we push those kids out into
Yeah.
the world and they're good people.
So Dr. Ackerman, I don't think you should separate the sample 1 and sample 2.
Yeah, I think
It
we
should, it should be your original recommendation on, suggestion maybe on the top 2 and then taking out that
Yeah.
last
that's the part
piece.
that was the part that Matt liked.
all right, so
though.
now.
No,
what
I think he
No,
liked
you
the
like
top.
the top.
No, the top.
Right here at the end.
Yeah, but then we need to,
The bottom, the
It's a little
third piece
redundant.
was
Yeah.
the last part of the original
okay, yeah.
suggestion,
Yeah.
right?
You're fine with
So
that.
I think it should just be then, I don't agree in taking it separately.
Push it
I
once
think if we're
thrown
gonna
out.
do it, we should just
yeah.
push
find
that
a
out
way
like that.
But there's
But I
definitely
think
stuff in there that-
I think there's redundancy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I could just fix it. I could take out inclusive.
Just do it.
Just learn it.
I do think, though, they're both set up, I'm agreeing with you that certainly we should not, I think that they both,
Should be one paragraph.
yeah, but they are both pointing to an outcome. And I think only the end one should point to the outcome. It should be
Like the
what.
second.
The second
Yeah,
sentence, the second
exactly.
sentence.
The
Just
outcome should
switch
be at the end of the
So
second.
just switch the order of those two
How do
paragraphs,
we,
yeah.
what are we doing? How do we get there? What's the result?
The,
So, yeah.
the,
So maybe
the
just put
frame, I
Two
like
is
that.
on top of one,
the frame that I was thinking about initially was, what do we as an organization want to be doing? What do we want our students to be doing? And then where do we want them to get to?
Yeah, that to me seems like the flow is right now, like what are we doing to get to what end? I like that.
I gotta change that word. Because we're,
And we've already inspired a lifelong love of learning
Right,
in the
so-
first sentence.
Promote. Encourage,
Nurture?
nurture, good one.
we have up here.
Oh, we have nurture up there, right?
And our mission is to foster a dynamic learning environment, or is dynamic and inclusive?
Yeah,
Do we want
inclusive.
inclusive there, or did we just lose it?
We already have inclusive.
Oh, got it.
So wouldn't you say a dynamic learning environment, right?
How about,
In the very first
Yeah.
sentence, inclusive had been between the
Yeah.
end and the learning, and I think we're trying to address redundancies.
Yeah,
So
it
take
would-
out the and?
yeah.
I'm
In
sorry.
the beginning,
top.
first sentence, take out and. We said inspire twice, so we need a second word for inspire. Well, why don't you have this, in the first sentence, have it be create a lifelong love of learning, and then keep inspire in the second one.
Is it safe enough to try yet? Like to put it out? It probably is.
I think so.
We have some real wordsmiths in the community too, that might give some excellent feedback.
Do we need to say, I mean, I feel like creating a lifelong love of learning and we strive to inspire learning. I feel like we don't need
Yeah,
it
it's
twice.
again, further redundancy, yeah.
Now, create lifelong learners?
Why don't we take out
I
the
almost,
together we strive beginning part of the sentence and just say, like, take out inspire learning, well-being, creativity, because we kind of already said that. And then just say something about just preparing compassionate, responsible citizens, like,
I think we're almost, I think rather than combining the two, I think we just want to pull maybe one thing out of the second sentence,
And
add it to the first one, and then
Yeah.
maybe append the outcome, because we don't really, we want more of an outcome. One or two things out of the second sentence, because
I think-
we're also, the first sentence talks about creating a dynamic learning environment where we work together. The second one talks about a connected community. Again, those two things I think are redundant as well.
create a
Create
lifelong
a
love of
connected-
learning to prepare compassionate, responsible citizens.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Just that.
yeah, you could launch right into the outcome.
yeah. an
Right.
I like that.
inclusive, connected community.
Propel.
Propel.
Right.
What about
You know,
that?
I was also thinking about embark on.
In the initial one, we wrote contribute
To society.
meaningfully to society and shape our future. I don't know if any of those words are jumping out to anybody.
One thing I'd propose as the outcome too is like words that I think about are meaningful and also true to themselves. Because one thing I also would like to think about as we try to think about inclusivity is that I don't want our mission statement to be so ambitious that then any student who doesn't meaningfully shape the world will feel like they failed. Like, it's like, this should be what is right for everyone.
Well, I think holistic sort of encompasses that, because there are a lot of ways to be societal contributors, and they're not always.
I just want to make sure that the way we word things can
We're not
apply
judging-
to everyone.
And we're not judging anyone for if this is how, this qualifies as meaningfully contributing versus that doesn't, like, we don't have, this is our hope for our students. This is not, I'm gonna grade you at the end of 12th grade to see, and then like, I don't know, when you come back, will you have meaningfully contributed? Like, this is,
Yeah,
that it's a hope and a wish.
some of my thinking on that is inspired by some work on palliative care, and the greatest regrets of the dying is they wish they'd lived a life that was true to themselves. And so I think about that.
But I think it's hard, because it's very subjective, because like there
Sure.
will be people that say that me being home with my kids is not, I'm not doing anything for society. And then there are people that will say the opposite,
Sure.
that me being home with them is. So I feel like I feel like we're getting into something that's a little too subjective.
And I think,
Just for time's sake, I'm looking at the time.
Yeah.
I think if we're okay with, Dr. Ackerman, you were saying if we could, does this look like okay to put
start.
out there to get more feedback on, if we agree or if we strongly disagree?
You want me to read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our mission is to foster a dynamic learning environment where students, families, and educators work together to promote academic excellence, nurture social emotional well-being, and create a lifelong love of learning. We strive to create an inclusive, connected school community that encourages collaboration and prepares compassionate, responsible citizens.
I think it's a great jumping off point.
Yeah.
I think when we put the feedback
do
out,
something there.
we'll get more of what we got the first time around, more feedback, more themes, more nuanced suggestions, and then we can go
How
from
about
there.
compassionate, responsible, add one more, global citizens?
Oh, good
So,
one.
so
Yeah.
just so that it's not just within
Right. I like that.
here, but like
Yeah, on
we're
a
out
global
there. I
stage,
know
yeah.
that's something that we've been working on
Yeah.
for the past several years in terms
Yeah.
of having students be global citizens.
Yeah. I think it's a good first pass.
Okay, me too.
And I think to your point, Tim, the social, emotional well-being, part of what you were talking
Yeah.
about, being true to yourself, is really, for me, caught up in that.
Yeah.
To know who you are, to love who you are, it's all part of that for me.
Is this word, Craig, can this be, okay, maybe not, I don't know, but can it be design? Can it be something else?
I mean, aren't we striving to be
Right.
inclusive?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
great,
Be.
Yeah.
I like it.
perfect.
I like that. Just be it.
Just be it. There we go. We got our tagline. Just be it.
Just be it.
Just be it.
Sometimes simple is so good.
Look at Nike.
I know,
But
right?
we need that long explanation, which is not even long, actually.
It's actually not that long
In
now.
order to know how to be, we
Yeah.
need to refer back to this, so.
So we were gonna do something, like I would recommend this goes on the agenda tomorrow night as a first reading,
Okay.
and then I would send it out in the week for feedback.
Love it.
Sure.
Yep.
Sounds
And
good.
then what, okay, like,
Then we will come
we're gonna
back.
get some very lengthy
Maybe.
addendums. So what is the strategy thereafter?
I think we'd review it, just like we did with the kids and the adults, and then you guys would make your final determination.
Okay.
Sometimes when I send stuff out like this, you might get 4 or 5 responses. So, and you might see something, you're like, ooh.
I appreciated
I like that
the
word.
engagement the first time, although mine did come in last, which I disagree with. But there was some really thoughtful responses in there. I thought
Yeah,
that was nice.
All right, good,
Appreciate all
good
this.
work, everybody.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
Lisa,
and there's so much
Great.
overlap on our fourth
And
All right,
page.
just
so we're
looking
gonna
at
add
it.
this to the agenda today.
Okay, thank
And
you.
looking at it like, can someone look at that and use it as an actionable guide? I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we move on, Dr. Ackerman?
Yeah, if you're
Let's see
ready.
If everybody's ready?
Yep.
Okay. We'll move on to item 3. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby acknowledges receipt of the following contracts approved by this superintendent per Board Policy 6085, purchasing and bidding. We have 3.1, agreement. Ms. Elsner, can I take these together? Okay, but I'm going to just read them out. 3.1, agreement with Conscious Campus for the 25-26 school year. An agreement with Lawrence Kids, that's 3.2 for the 25-26 school year. 3.3, a consultant agreement with Laura Varodi for the 25-26 school year. 3.4, a consultant agreement with North Beast.
Oh, yeah.
North Beast Athletics for the 25-26 school year, and 3.5, an agreement with Renana, does anybody know how to say? Shfiel Toby for continuing education class in 2026. So is that for the spring semester?
Yeah,
Okay. So,
cooking. Can we just go over them?
yes, that would
Okay,
be really great.
3.1 is this middle school speaker for National Inclusive Schools Week, and the PTA is supporting $3,000 of that. We thank them. 3.2 is the Safer, Smarter Schools curriculum. 3.3 is piano consultant. 3.4 is support for the athletic program. I believe it's the cheerleading consultant. And then 3.5 is a cooking class for continuing education.
Okay, great. So may I have a motion to move I will move 3.1 through 3.5. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions or comments? No. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we're on 4, which was under facilities. We talked about it with Mr. Caldwell-Block. He explained the change order with Bertucci Contracting. So it's just to acknowledge receipt of a change order for the amount of $14,325.09. May I have a motion for 4.1? May I have a second?
Second?
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 5, notice of future meetings. Will be Wednesday, December 10th at 7 o'clock. We will have the Horace Greeley High School presentations. And then Wednesday, January 14th at 7 p.m., and that will be the budget preview. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 11:48 a.m.?
I'll move.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.